Hi all! As anticipated, I made it to Switzerland. I have just spent the past month in Laos. It's a place with incredible energy, though not for everybody. And before leaving, I wanted to film one more reflection that feels fitting for this setting. So there's a lot of who talk about energy on YouTube, and I thought that given that there's so much floating around, I also want to share my take on this, but I want to do it in a way that can be useful for people who do not really fully relate to the woo talk and prefer a rational, grounded approach to this topic. So this video is an energy primer for the rationally curious. There's a lot of talk about energy, attunement, resonance, and it would be too easy to dismiss this as just nonsense. For some, these words point to real lived experiences, and I think that invalidating these experiences just because they are difficult to articulate and haven't been fully explored by the scientific community yet is not useful either. So this is for those who sense something is happening beneath the surface in interactions, rooms, even cities, and want a language that feels precise rather than performative. It's a primer, not a pitch, and not a belief system. There are growing conversations around somatics, energy, and nervous system awareness, but the language is often either clinical, like ventral vagal, hyperarousal, overly mystical, fifth dimension, or too vague to be useful, like the vibe was off. So this is an attempt to name what we feel with more clarity, not to define it perfectly, but to give those of us who move through this space some shared reference points, especially those who find themselves split between intuitive perception and rational thinking and have spent years translating between those worlds. So here are some terms of the trade and what they mean in context. These are working definitions, not universal truths, so just take what resonates. Field is the subtle informational tone or atmosphere of a space, person, or group. Think of it as the social weather. It can be personal, how someone feels to be around, spatial, how a room lands in your body, or collective, so how a group vibrates. Attunement, a somatic awareness of what's happening in the field, often pre-verbal, a sense of something's off or something just clicked. Highly attuned people often adjust without realizing it. Energetic coherence, when someone's internal state, external expression, and the field they're in are in alignment. It reads as clear, grounded, real, while incoherence shows up as confusion, static, or mismatch. Contraction, expansion, bodily sensations that signal pressure, safety, or truth. Expansion feels like breath, presence, openness, while contraction often signals tension, suppression, or overwhelm. Resonance, dissonance, the emotional or somatic harmony, or lack of, between people or between self and environment. When something resonates, it feels calming, clarifying, or energizing. Dissonance may feel chaotic or draining. Density, clarity, interference describes the weight or sharpness of a field. A clear field is perceptible without being overwhelming. A dense one might feel heavy or sticky. Interference shows up when something distorts or muddles perception, so too many signals, unresolved dynamics, or emotional noise. So before reading any field, there's the somatic layer, so sensing the energy in the self. Our body is the interface, so there could be subtle cues like a sudden chest tightness, a shallow breath, a warm opening in the gut, a rising or dropping sensation in the solar plexus, and all provide feedback before cognition kicks in. We often override these cues for the sake of social acceptability or task orientation, but over time, many of us learn to return to this somatic compass. And the nervous system, especially in its ventral state, calm and connected, becomes a radar for coherence and truth. Then there's the relational and environmental layer, so sensing fields in groups, places, and cities. So we often describe people as having good energy or a room as feeling off, and these aren't just figures of speech. So for group fields, some people stabilize, others amplify, some distort, and these effects can be unconscious but real. For place fields, certain cities carry specific tones like clarity, chaos, contraction, or even brilliance, and these are shaped by collective history, culture, design, and even geography. And sensitives often know within minutes whether a place is for them. Field literacy can help navigate not just who we connect with, but where we function best. Now, a disclaimer about what this is not. This is not a claim of psychic ability, not a rejection of science or structure, not a moral hierarchy or perception, not a technique, not a funnel, not how to raise your vibration in 5 easy steps. This is just an attempt to describe the invisible patterns that shape a lot of visible experience. And you don't have to call it energy, but you likely know it when you feel it. What this might be about, some of what people label energy sensitivity overlaps with somatic intelligence, pattern recognition, and even what some traditions might call subtle perception or clairsentience. And I don't claim those labels, but I don't dismiss them either. What I know is that some people pick up on information before it's spoken, sense the tone of a room before a word is said, and feel the atmosphere of a place before entering. And so whether that's intuitive processing, embodied cognition, or something else entirely, I leave open. But for many, this perceptual layer is real, even if it defies tidy explanation. So why it matters? It helps navigate relationships and group dynamics. It supports better decision making, where to live, who to trust, when to stay or go. It reclaims forms of intelligence that are often dismissed as irrational. And most importantly, for those who have felt alone, overwhelmed, or confused by their own perceptions, this can offer some grounding. You are not too much, you're not imagining things, you are perceiving a real, even if subtle, dimension of experience. This is not the final word on this, it's just a primer, a starting point, and way to name something that is rarely spoken with clarity. I hope that more precise language will come through conversation, experience, and time. If this resonates, or if you have your own language for these experiences, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And if you'd like more reflections like this, you can find me on my blog, Renaissance Nomad. I will see you soon back on this channel, this time from Ibiza, a place of magical energy, allegedly. So take care and ciao for now.